Hello there, Rabbi. How are you today?
I'm happy, Joe. It's the month of Adar.
And of course, the month of Adar includes the celebration of Purim. For those of us who do not remember the details, educate us on it.
The book of Esther tells the story of the king Ahasuerus, who, as any good king, gets carried away with his wealth and fortune and fame. And he makes the mistake of getting rid of Vashti, his loyal, faithful wife, his queen. He dismisses her because he starts listening to his friends who have these ridiculous chauvinist ideas about women and how women should behave. So he dismisses his wife. The queen is gone. He now decides he needs a new wife. And so this is the book of Esther. It's the story of Esther. And Uncle Mordecai, Esther's uncle, and the Jewish community in Persia is faced with this king who decides he wants a new queen. And the problem being his prime minister, Haman, decides he wants to kill all the Jews. He blames the Jews for the economy. He blames the Jews for schools. It's a typical dictator type situation, only it's not the king that's the problem, it's his prime minister. So Haman convinces the king that if he gets rid of all the Jewish people, he can take their money, their property, their land, and become that much richer. And so again, King Ahasuerus, not thinking clearly and listening to this one advisor, Haman, decides to wipe out the Jewish population. At the same time, he's searching for a new queen. And he decides to have a pageant, a show of some kind, to have women come to the king, come to the palace, and he'll decide who his new queen will be. Enter Esther. Esther, at the request of Uncle Mordecai, enters the pageant, the contest, the decision, and she becomes the new queen. However, Ahasuerus doesn't know she's Jewish, doesn't know much about her, except that she's physically attractive, intelligent, and it would be a good choice for the queen. Now, Haman is revving up and starting his process of gathering up the Jews and killing them and taking their property. So Uncle Mordecai comes to Queen Esther and says, "This is why God put you in the palace, Esther. You're the only one that can save the Jewish people. You have to intercede with your husband, Ahasuerus." You can imagine her decision and thinking, and she decides this is the right thing to do. She goes into the king, explains that she's Jewish, shows the stupidity of wiping out the Jewish population. Ahasuerus realizes, Esther, you're right. That's a very stupid thing to do. They're my subjects, they're loyal, they're my people. There's no reason except that Haman created and made them into villains when he himself is the true villain. So he removes Haman as prime minister. He reverses the decrees. The Jewish people are saved. Bingo, we have a holiday. A holiday where the Jewish people were saved from destruction because an intelligent woman stood up and said to the king, not a good idea. And he had enough sense left to agree with her. So we have a holiday. The holiday is called Purim.
And
And,
I always enjoy Purim because I like the cookies and I like the party. I like costumes, but I also like the other thing about Purim that you've always mentioned every time the holiday rolls around.
and the rabbis in the Talmud interjected one more thing that we should do. We should get so drunk at the megillah reading that we don't know the difference between blessed be Mordecai and cursed be Haman. Drinking in Judaism, as I've mentioned, is okay in moderation. Getting drunk is not, except in the synagogue during the reading of the Megillah. Megillah is what we call the book of Esther. During the reading, during the telling of the story, when Haman's name is mentioned, we take a drink. When Mordecai's name is mentioned, we take a drink. When Mordecai's name is mentioned, we cheer and shout yay. When Haman's name is mentioned, we shout boo and make noise. Both times we take a shot. This is the one time of the year when getting drunk is not only acceptable, but it's required. Just make sure you have a designated driver to take you home from the megillah reading, from hearing the scroll of Esther.
And we're not talking about a blood alcohol level here that we have to achieve. Nobody's blowing into a breathalyzer. I can get drunk on the laughter of children. I can get happy and silly just by being with friends. And a certain amount of alcohol will certainly help that, but really the idea is to fill your heart with joy, right?
Exactly, to enhance and also to do something that we don't do during the year. And we might wonder what it's like, and we may want to do it. So this is a safe, controlled time to drink and have a good time and make a lot of noise. And what we're celebrating is that through Esther, God intervened and saved the Jewish people from destruction.
One thing that has always saved me from destruction is your good advice, Rabbi. Thank you so much, as always, and happy holidays.
And this coming week, look for where the Megillah, the Scroll of Esther, is read, where Purim is celebrated. Many places celebrate on the weekends, before and after the holiday. So enjoy. It's the month of Adar. Be happy.